Hi everyone, it's Chris Timm here from Sundela Consulting. With me today, I have two of my all-time favorite people in the industry. I have Victor and James from Salesbuildr. They're going to talk to you all about this amazing product that they have called Salesbuildr. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves shortly. And then what we're going to do is go through a little bit of a demo, just kind of show you what this tool can do. And then, at the end, if you have any questions, you can just post them in the comments below, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So I'm going to pass over to Victor. Just sort of tell us a little bit about Salesbuildr, where it's come from, why you started it, all that kind of stuff. And then we'll pass over to James, who can introduce himself as well, and then go through a presentation of what Salesbuildr is. So, hey guys, and welcome, and thanks for coming on the call. And over to you, Victor.
Thanks for the great intro, Chris. That's the best intro I had all month. Well, yeah, I'm Victor. I'm the founder of Salesbuildr. We started Salesbuildr, let me see, building this 3-4 years ago. Why did we do it? I worked at Autotask before that, so I talked to a lot of Autotask partners back then, and there was an issue with the status quo, and there was a need for something new, fast, user-friendly, and customer-friendly. And that's what we started out to build. We have been in the market now for 2.5 years, and we've managed to build the application out from an MVP 2.5 years ago to a mature platform that does a lot of interesting things that will make the life easier if you're in sales and work for an MSP.
Cool. Excellent. Thank you for that. And James, I know you've, well, I'm sure a lot of people on, who are subscribed to this channel have probably seen you around at a million events. They know you well. So do you just want to, for the one person who probably doesn't know you, do you want to just introduce yourself, who you are, where you come from, and then take us through a demo, or take us through your slides and what you're going to do with Salesbuildr.
That's cool. That's very kind of you. I'm not sure that's quite the case, but a few of them might have unsubscribed from one of my emails potentially, or had a microphone prodded in their face. In fact, it feels a bit weird actually, Chris, it being this way around. Normally, I'm interviewing you, harassing you at a show or something. So
exactly.
But yeah, it's awesome to be on here finally. I remember going to an SBS group with you many moons ago, and you came in presenting about Autotask, and I thought, this guy's like not all that funny, but he knows his stuff. He really knows his stuff. And then, yeah, from then on, I've watched the channel grow. So we're absolutely, thrilled to be on the Sundela channel finally. My background's been MSP for sort of 20 or so years, in various different roles. First as a distributor, as MD of Zen Software, then doing a stint in enterprise with Akamai. And I've always had an interest in this kind of stuff. Believe it or not, 6-7 years ago, actually was putting together my own sort of MVP for a sort of quotation tool, born out of the frustrations of quoting when I was formerly in the sales team many years before that. And so there was a perfect alignment. So that joining Salesbuildr was kind of it was a no-brainer for me, really. I've been keeping an eye on Victor's journey and met Victor through CompTIA. And here I am evangelizing the product, the pains, and getting out there at shows and interviewing thought leaders and people who actually know their stuff, like yourself, Chris.
Excellent. And just both of you mentioned the word MVP. So for people who don't know what that is, can you kind of explain what that means?
Yeah, it's the minimum viable product. So what's the minimum that you can build that adds value and that customers will buy and think is useful? That's where most SaaS companies start. Like they buy the minimum viable product, and then you start iterating, and I think that's the beauty of building software that's for a specific niche, like the MSP vertical. And then it's not only for the MSP vertical, but also for the sales horizontal process. So you can get very specific, and it's cool because you carve out this slice of the market. And then you talk to customers who will start using your MVP, and they're going to come up with all kinds of remarks and questions and requests. Can I do this? This is very valuable. This doesn't work for me. And that's how you build and iterate the product towards something that's very valuable for a lot of MSPs that are in the same boat.
Right. So MVP, most viable product, not most valuable person or most valuable player or whatever they use in sports these days. So
Exactly.
yeah. Excellent. Yeah, James, I know you had some some slides you wanted to sort of go through and just take us through a little bit of a journey of the product. So it'd be good to kind of have a look at those. And then if we if I have any questions, obviously I'll ask you those as we're going through. And then we can hand over to Victor who can demo it. So do you want to kind of share your screen and show us what you got?
I certainly will. From my many years of working in the community, I know how much people love death by PowerPoint. So I've brought the ultimate deck here. No, I'm going to just use this literally as a framework because there's a lot to the product and it is helpful, I think, to just be able to get some sort of framing around it. So just make sure I can share my screen. Okay. Can you?
And I will put timestamps on. I know everyone absolutely wants to see James and wants to see you talk. And I'm sure they're gonna love what you have to say. But there will be timestamps. So if people want to skip straight to the demo, they can do that. But I do hope you kind of sit and watch what James has to.
Yeah, give me 2 minutes, right? Yeah. Okay, so Salesbuildr really is about making sure you get the most out of your sales team, and you guys are putting time, blood, sweat, tears into building your MSP, into making sure you've got the right people, the right products, you're bringing on new customers, the marketing, all the bits that go into being a successful MSP. If you let it down at the sales stage, you're really doing yourself an injustice. So this is, although we are at its heart a quotation and proposal tool, this is really about how can we get the most out of your sales team or whoever it is in your sales team, the sales function. And the way we do that is through automation, standardization, and templatization. So you have a process. So everyone's doing the same thing. And that, we believe, is the kind of the key to growth. So let me just show you, I'll give you a quick run through of what's actually in the product. These are the tiles. So there's a lightweight CRM. There's a portfolio management element to this. So it links off to your PSA and your distributors, lets you define a concise portfolio to sell from. There's a white space area where you can see opportunities in your customer base. Of course, you can build beautiful proposals and templates that are interactive, that mean you don't have to keep going back and reinventing the wheel every time that you want to create a proposal. Visibility of pipelines, so you know what's going to convert. You're not in the dark. You actually, it's not reliant on you necessarily to update things. And there's a compliance element to this as well. So you can see who's accessed quotes, who's sent quotes, and you've got a full audit trail there, plus some order automation once the quotes come in. And I can't wait to talk about storefronts. I really, really love that bit. So this is where it sits in your stack. You can see we're second one along there. So you've got your accounting software on the far right. There we are. And then we plug into your PSA and your distributors. So we're on the sort of the sales end of your stack. We connect with, of course, Autotask, Connectwise, Dynamics, Halo is on the agenda for later on in the year. That's one that Victor can talk about later on.
And I just ask you, sorry,
you go for it. You go for it.
About the distributors, and I know you guys are a European company, so I know where the answer to this is going to be. But a lot of quoting tools kind of start by integrating with the American vendors and sort of don't connect too well with the UK one. So I'm assuming you've got, and I can see companies like Exertus and those kind of things. So you fully work with the vendors across the world, or is it just UK and just US? How does that work?
I think in terms of the way it's been borne out, obviously Victor's been doing some great work in the Benelux. So sort of started with the distributors there, and slowly as we brought on more customers, we've kind of added them, and actually we're adding them all the time. So it's not uncommon for if somebody's got a particular distributor they work with, for us to add via using our API, we'll connect and be able to add them as well. But obviously we have a big focus on the US too. So you can see some of the sort of larger US disties in there as well. So yeah, it's a real mix at the moment. Hopefully all the major ones are covered.
Yeah, I can give a little bit more detail there. I mean, what's interesting that you can see is in the United States, you have a landscape that's much more consolidated than here in Europe, right? So you got a couple of big ones where that covers 80-90% of your day-to-day business. And then in the UK, you have the usual suspects like Ingram Micro, TD SYNNEX. We also do West Coast, EET, Exertis, Targets, and Westcon Comstor coming soon. And then in the Benelux is even more. We got 21. I don't know why the Benelux is such a fragmented space, but it is. So because we were born here, we got the widest amount of distributors in the Benelux.
Okay,
that's a good question though. It's nice. We should probably divide those up so it's really obvious, but that'd be useful to show like that.
and I mean, even just those distributors, you know, I see sometimes with some tools, for example, Ingram works on the US Ingram but not on the UK one, or you know, not on the Australian Ingram, because some of the APIs are different. So I'm assuming here it doesn't really matter which country you're in if you're using one of those distributors like Ingram or Tech Data or whatever they're called these days. That, you know, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, it's going to connect to the distributor in that country.
Yes, but it does matter where you are in the world, because we do Benelux, UK and Ireland, and United States. So they do have specifics, and one of these specifics is slightly subtle differences in the catalogs and also in the product specs, right? Okay. We have most tools work with Edelweiss as a product database. We have IceCap, but we built our own distributor hub interface. So you can search for products lightning speed. We enrich the products, but that's tied to a region. So Australia and the Nordics are coming later, but are not on the list right now. Okay. For example.
Cool. Thank you.
So just whistling through some of the pain points we help with, MSPs that have no CRM at all, still working on spreadsheets, and those that are stuck with CRMs that are totally bloated and therefore not really that usable. People who have sprawling catalogs of products and services that aren't standardized, which therefore isn't helping the sort of the efficiency. No visibility over pipeline necessarily, and importantly, templates that perhaps aren't at the quality that they should be and take way too long to produce. Also, flying almost blind in terms of where the opportunities are and where the profit is in their business. And of course, Salesbuildr helps with that. So there is a lightweight CRM, as I mentioned, portfolio, pipeline visibility, and of course, we'll touch on the template side of things and the proposals and the insights with the white space module. Here's a quick look at it, so we can dive into any one of these points, Chris, so we can do the demo on any areas that you think are most interesting. Just so you can see it there, we've got a lightweight CRM, so you can create your companies, you can enrich that data as you're doing it, you can create contacts and label them depending on where they are within the sort of maybe within sort of the buying group, so decision makers, stakeholders, whatever it might be. And you've also got a tab there where you can see, okay, so quotations sent, proposals sent, it's all built in same area.
And having a picture of Victor's face on there is an absolute bonus as well.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah. You can't escape it when you work here.
Absolutely.
It's everywhere. The white space tool, this is definitely a place where if you're going to look at Salesbuildr, you definitely want to spend some time with this. And in actual fact, you can just fire up a demo and connect to your Autotask instance or whatever it is you're using and see the output of this. But essentially what we're looking at here, you hear it talked about a little bit in the industry from various sort of influencers, thought leaders, this idea of gap selling or white space selling. And you've got services along the top there, and you've got customers down the side. And what those are showing you is, okay, I've got a green tile, so that person has that product. And you can even see a value on there. Not sure if you can quite make it out. There's a value there of what you're currently billing them. Anything else is sort of free range, so sort of, an opportunity potentially. So one of the first things you do here actually is look at, okay, I'm actually underbilling or maybe even overbilling a particular customer. So there's a bit of housekeeping to do there before you sort of get all excited and go off selling. The idea is, go for it.
Sorry, I was going to say, how's it picking that up from Autotask and Manage? Is it sort of looking at what you've got on contract, so it's pulling the services from a contract to generate that report? Yeah.
Yes, it does contracts and services on the contracts. And in case of Autotask, it also pulls the charges from the contracts. Okay. So some, as you know, charge based on users from the active or users or devices. So we also,
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome.
And you can click on that, click on one of those tiles, and obviously you can see the invoice there, the current sort of billing state. The other nice thing about this is there's a whole load of powerful filters, which I'll let Victor go through in more detail. It basically lets you sort of really narrow down on, okay, I've got someone with antivirus, I want to sell them a phishing simulation application, or I just want to see this particular account manager's view, or I want to use that information either in a TBR, QBR, or potentially actually send right there and then from our software, sort of what is effectively a bulk email where it makes sense. You've got to be quite careful doing that. You make sure it aligns with their sort of, their business needs and so on. But the functionality is there. So I think we should definitely dive into that one.
Mm-hmm. And can you, from that screen, if you then wanted to quote a customer for something that's in that white space, so if you said, customer X doesn't have 365, can you click on there and kind of generate a quote for them and send that over to them? Or
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I'll show you that in a minute. Yeah.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah, definitely worth having a look at that area. You can see a pipeline, which is quite important. Obviously, if you're anything like me or some salespeople aren't the best at keeping their records up to date. And when it's manual, there's always potential for error because it's all integrated. You can see the pipeline, you can see what quotes you've sent, what stage they're up to, and you've got a good idea then of what your forecasting actually starts to become valuable rather than a bit of okay, are we somewhere close?
Yeah.
I mentioned this bit. I think this is another area we should dive into, the categorization. So the principle here is that you want to be creating products, service bundles that really tie into your sort of your customers' pains and try and be as concise as possible. And what you can do here is basically take all those products and things that are in your PSA and your services in your PSA, products in your distributors, and build yourself a nice concise portfolio that everyone's selling from, that has standardized margins, business process rules. So if anyone quotes at a certain level, that there's some kind of approval required. And also you can set, standard, mandatory options, optional extras for both the salesperson and potentially for the customer. So you're building a really nice concise portfolio. Bit of work to do up front if you really want to get that working nicely, but the best MSPs you'll always find have that kind of concise view. And the whole thing, of course, is templatized. It'll be no surprise to you. So in terms of the content blocks, if you're quoting a Jabra headset, then you can create once a piece of content that is a Jabra headset that looks fantastic, that has a data sheet attached to it, and that anytime someone quotes that, it automatically pops in. Or you can drag and drop and do it on the fly. You can label it and so on. But again, we can have a look at that. The proposal editor works in much the same way. What I really like about this is I think this fundamental idea of I can actually put a bit of time up front into making a really nice template. So if you come to us, normally we would probably create the template as yours is right now, and then iterate is probably the way to go. But you can actually create templates that are specific to niches. So if you've got a legal firm, you can start building in some legal company testimonials from businesses you've worked from, or tailoring the language in that direction. So it makes it really easy to kind of niche down, but without actually niching, just give you that nice tailored view. And for customers, they're interactive as well, so you can they can adjust what they want. You don't have that back and forth between the customer potentially and yourself wasting time. They can just choose the options they want, e-sign it, and you're good to go.
Cool. And you were saying about this, so the proposal editor, is this something that if an MSP has a proposal already in a Word document or something, can they just upload that whole template straight in?
No, they can't. So what we do as part of the onboarding is we build those templates for you and show you how to do it.
Okay.
So we basically convert them by copying and pasting the contents of the templates into Salesbuildr.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, super easy to do. You can literally get as granular as you like. I'm one of these people who likes to fiddle with the fonts and colors and stuff, and you can really you can pretty much customize it to the nth degree. And like Victor says, we start you off, so okay. You're kind of at a good baseline. And then the self-storefront elephant. We do elephants now. That's a new line in our products. 44% apparently is the figure for millennials who don't want to buy from a salesperson directly. So it's really important for any MSP these days to have the ability to provide self-service purchasing, I think, for their customers. Why on earth would you want to be spending your valuable salespeople's time handling particularly like low value orders where it's just like a repeat order, where it's just a standard laptop, webcam, but whatever it might be, standard bundles. Here's an opportunity to not only provide a better experience for customers, so you can actually do this on a per customer basis. You can say, right, you know, if it's let's say a media house or something, and they want high powered spec machines only, you know, you can provide just those three and any sort of additional add-ons and things. Or you can open up a storefront, which is just everything. And I've seen some people doing like a sales area to get rid of the sort of the out of date potential hardware, or older hardware, I should say. So it's a really powerful thing. And if you're not doing it, then potentially your customers, so your competitors will be. So really important to have that in your armory these days when people want to be able to have that sort of, you know, that self-service side of things. And you can see there's a nice landing page there. So when they place an order, you can pop a video in maybe and say, thanks very much. This is the next step. This is what's going to happen. You know, got any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Really, really powerful tool. I've seen some of the better MSPs doing it who really want to just get rid of some of that sales admin stuff off the desk. And it makes a huge difference. You know, you could free up an inside salesperson almost by just saying, look, you know, here's our portfolio. For anything more advanced, come and talk to us, you know.
Absolutely. And does this, and I'm assuming this is obviously fully brandable, you know, in the MSP's colors and all that kind of stuff. And is the URL like brandable as well? So
yes, sir. Yeah. You get your own subdomain under your URL.
Under your domain. Okay, cool. So like shop dots and Della Consulting or something like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Why don't you?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to. Absolutely.
T-shirts.
I'm not going to have a huge amount as a consultant. I'm probably going to have 2 products on there, right? You can buy consulting package 1 or 2, but no, I mean, I can absolutely see how this is something that that MSPs will use, and I get asked this actually all the time on consulting calls. Is, you know, how do we make a shop front, right? How do we don't want to talk to customers. We don't want to go and sell them stuff, right? We just want to say, here's our website, go pick what you want, buy it from our website, and we'll deliver it. And the great thing is that way it stops them having to go to Amazon and buy the wrong machine, or, you know, get the wrong machine. You can almost kind of go, these are the machines that we recommend you buy. And if you pick one of these, we know it's going to work for you. You know, as I said, rather than just going to Amazon or PC World or one of those places. So
yeah, that's a great point. The other thing is you can also, like, if you create these bundles or you add up and cross-sell items, you can also add your managed services, right, or your software license to that line item, and it's all cared for, and it all flows into your PSA, and you can then convert it to an existing or a new contract.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's brilliant. I wish I'd had this kind of stuff when I had my MSP business. I think it's, you know, I used to do things literally the old-fashioned way of, and I think there weren't that many quoting tools out then in those days either. So everything was Word, and, you know, having to manually copy and paste stuff in, and you know, fighting with customers when they're going to PC World to buy, you know, their home user machine or their Windows home.
Yeah, that you have to support
that I have
to the same level as your preferred hardware.
You know, with 4 gigs of RAM, and it's like, why doesn't it connect to my domain? And, you know, so yeah, we've all had those questions. And I think this is brilliant because you can just go buy the machine from there. And it, you know, and also if you then have 2 or 3 different types of machines you're selling, a Dell or HP, you're not then having to go to your customer and say, okay, well, you know, let me give you the benefits of Dell versus HP. You can just stick it on the website and go, here's your benefits. You choose, Mr. Customer, which one you prefer.
With up-to-date pricing as well. That's the thing. So to make sure you're not going to end up with a situation where you've added something and then forgotten you had it listed at a certain price, sold it at that price, and gone, oh crikey, I can't get it for that price anymore.
And so on the shop front, that's then doing real-time pricing from those distributors, is it? So it's pulling in what the cost price is and adding a markup and giving.
Yes, it's putting them in on either a daily basis or an hourly basis, depending on the distributor. If they give daily or hourly updates, normally that's enough, right? Especially for the pricing, might be an issue sometimes for the availability, but that's another discussion. But everything is organized properly. And the other thing is that when the product isn't available anymore from your distributors, it will automatically hide the product. So you can't buy something that you can't deliver.
Okay. And I guess it's the same as if your distributor's out of stock of that item, does that then also kind of show stock levels?
Yes. Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, if they want to buy the HP and yeah, Ingram doesn't have it or something, then you just say, okay, there's none of those in stock, but there's 5 of these in stock or something.
Yeah. So then you can set a rule. If it's not in stock, do not show the item. Only show the items that have availability.
Okay.
So you can only pick one that's available.
Yeah. Or discontinue. So don't show discontinue
Or discontinue.
or out of stuff. Yeah. Out of stock. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can tell you're going to have lots of questions here, Chris, and I really want to hear them. So I reckon now's not a bad time to switch the demo. I think we can even have a look at that stuff, so you can see that, because the distributor feed side of things is really cool, because you're stopping people. One of our big MSPs we work with loved it because he was saying, well, actually, I have to check up to 10 distributor portals to get that information, and the time it saved me to do this. And you can check it out on our YouTube channel. So it's Nostra we work with, and he was saying, oh, it's really saved me some time. So it's good stuff to look at.
Absolutely. I think you're right. I think this is a good segue into doing a demo, just so we can actually see how this actually works for real. So yeah, Victor, I'm going to pass it over to you to let you show us the magic.
There we go. Let's let's jump straight into the proposal, right? I'm gonna go up, but I mean the core thing of Salesbuildr is the proposal, because everything from the platform comes together in the proposal. And if you're working on a proposal, this is what it looks like. So you have a proposal here is based on a template. That's linked here. You can open a template from here.
Mm-hmm.
And a template typically has a cover page, which you can select. Can be a full screen image, can be an image with text in front of it, can be dynamic fields merged into it. And then you typically would have a cover letter where you say, "Dear Chris, here's your proposal. This is why. Here's what we're going to do." And editing that is just picking the pencil icon, editing it like you're editing Word, and clicking on save, and you're done. And as you can see here, if you edit it, you can see that there's a whole list of merge fields that you can use that pulls from your PSA that you can use in your proposal. And it's a long list, right? So you get your customer information, your contact information, but you can also use things like the quotation specific values, contract specific values. So if you're sending out a contract for 12 or 24 or 36 months, you can define that in the settings, and it will show you the month, the start date, the end date, right? The recurrences. So the customer will know, oh, I'm signing off on a 36-month agreement, and it's specifically what it says.
Okay. Does this work with user-defined fields as well? So if you've got a user-defined field against your opportunity, can you pull that in to here and chuck that in? Because what I'm thinking in this instance, you might want to do that at the opportunity stage in Autotask, right? So if you've got an opportunity in Autotask that you're managing through there, you may have a drop-down field that says, you know, how long is this contract going to go on for? And you'd say 12 months, and then it would pull that field in and chuck it into the thing. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it works with user-defined fields from the company level. That's what's in there right now.
Oh, from the company level. Okay.
Yes, we will be adding in user-defined fields for opportunities too, but like the duration of the contract and the X amount of months is already part of the standard entity opportunities, as you know. Yeah. So, but you can use user-defined fields from Autotask company and then use those values in your proposals.
Okay.
That you can do for sure.
Cool.
Well, scrolling down here, you will see that there's line items, right? So if I select a line item, you can see that on the right side, you can see the information. So if I click here on a distributor, I can see, oh, here in this case, you've got a distributor called Paco. You can see the stock level, and you can see the cost of the product. And what Salesbuildr does, it will calculate the sales price based on the cost, the markup that you have set on the category. where the product is in, and that will calculate the sales price for you.
Okay. And if you had multiple vendors there, because I saw that said lowest price. So if you had sort of multiple vendors, does it allow you to compare?
Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. So if you have a product that's in stock, you can see. Let me pick one. Let me go to products here, and let me pick a product that's in stock with distributors. And let me just try some random product here. Oh, it's just about, if you have multiple distributors, it will show you all the prices, and it will select the lowest price from that list of distributors. And what you can do is you can set rules. So you can say, look, I have a preferred distributor because I typically like to buy from, I don't know, TD SYNNEX. But if the price is X% lower at the other guys, pick the other guys.
Yeah.
So you can do that. Normally you would do that manually. Here you can do it using a business rule.
Okay.
And again, so you can manage your line items here, and you can also manage your add-ons. And what do we mean by add-ons, right? You can say, look, I want to add some mandatory add-ons, one-time installation, maybe a care pack, maybe an NCE license, and I can select optional add-ons.
These can be zero price as well, can't they? I've seen this use case where you say, right, okay, I'm going to put like a server installation or whatever, and you need to make sure that it's got these particular cables or this mounting kit or something like that, just to make sure that you don't rock up at site without it, basically.
Yeah.
You can do that. I think the flexibility lies in that you can start off by slowly standardizing that portfolio. So if I'm going, let's open another tab, the product here, and look into that portfolio, because here is what we say, okay, you manage everything that you sell. And what do you sell as an MSP? It's always going to be hardware, software, services, and labor, or a combination of one of those four.
Yeah.
And this is where you lay that out. So this is basically a mirror of your PSA with the optionality of standardizing it in terms of markup, shipping, and add-ons. So if I select add-ons, here is where I can predefine that on this products in this category, HP laptops, always have these add-ons, upsell items as required. Because just the way I want to sell my laptops.
Yeah.
And this is the optional add-on.
And so just a question on that. So if you're adding those, so you've got the HP care pack in there. So you're saying always add this care pack, but it's showing as unavailable. So what happens at that point? If the product that you are adding is unavailable at your vendor, does it still add the product to the quote?
You can see that, right? And you can switch them out. So there's always some management involved in keeping your portfolio healthy and up to date, right? There's going to be stuff that's going to be end of life. There's going to be new products or new models. So you have to keep track of that. So we have some things built in to make life easier for you.
Yeah.
One of the things that we do is, because we have all those distributors linked to your marketplace. So the marketplace is basically a consolidated, aggregated overview of all your distributors inside Salesbuildr, where you can find stuff quickly. So quickly, I mean, if I want to find an HP ProBook with an i5 processor, I can do HP ProBook i5. And it will show me all the HP ProBooks with an i5 processor, and I can then select specific distributor or just show me all the ones that are available, right?
Okay.
So this works a little differently than what you used to. Most tools have the Edelweiss version. We built this inside Salesbuildr just for speed and ease of use. You can import products into your own portfolio, and they will then inherit the rules that you have set on that category. Now, what we do too, because we have all these connections and we know what products are in stock, which ones are not in stock, and which ones are removed from the catalog, what we can now do is say, okay, I'm going to clear the filters here. And I can now say, okay, not found. So this means I have 3 items in my portfolio that we can't find at any of your connected distributors. So these are end of life, right? So you want to remove them, or at least set them to inactive, so they can't be added to a proposal anymore. So we have a bulk editor built inside Salesbuildr, where you can bulk edit your portfolio. And here is you can set these to unlisted and inactive in Autotask.
Nice.
So this is like a power tool to help keep your portfolio healthy. The other thing we built is that what you can do is, let's say I wanna do TDC next, and I can now browse into a single category. So let's say I want to go into computers, notebooks. I want Lenovo available. I can now import these results, and I can import these 74 results into my Lenovo laptops category, and that's going to be a daily job. So what it's going to do is anytime TDC Next adds a new Lenovo laptop and it's available, you will have it in your category inside Salesbuildr, available to sell.
It's a daily update, basically. Daily sync.
Daily update. Yeah. And what you can then do too is say, look, if I go into that category, Lenovo laptops, right? And I go into the settings of the category, I can also say, okay, hide products that are not in stock from end customers.
Yeah.
So it will not be visible if it's not in stock. So, and this is basically automating. If you're standardized on Lenovo or Lenovo and HP, you pull them in, and you will always have all the latest models. You can remove the ones that are end of life, and you can hide the ones that are not available.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. So it means you're not then having to, as you say, not having to kind of do a quote where your customer's then trying to pull an item in that's no longer available or gone end of life. You can just tell it not to display that, and your customers don't end up yelling.
Less manual work.
Yeah.
And less faults that you then have to correct downstream.
Yeah, exactly. When your customer now yells at you because they've bought a laptop that's been discontinued for the last 3 months and no one's told them, and they're never going to get their stock, right? So
exactly. Yeah. So that's a quote for you. You can also do like here we have a labor bundle, so you can add either a quote specific bundle, or you can pre-build a bundle, add it to your portfolio based on everything that's in your portfolio, and add it to your quote. So here you can say, look, I want to add a single line item, and there's all stuff inside that bundle. And you can then decide, do I want to share what's in the bundle with my customer, or do I want to just simplify how I sell things and offer it as a single line item? Right. In this case, it's installation work, but you can also say, okay, if it's a managed services per user, the customer doesn't really care most of the time what's inside the bundle. The customer cares about the end result and the investment.
Yeah.
So our recommendation is to hide it, because that gives you the opportunity to also exchange what's inside the bundle in the back end. Right? You're setting a net result, and how you do that is up to you. Yeah,
absolutely. And I agree. I mean, I think, customers don't need to, as you said, they don't need to kind of know that it's a Dell PC, right? All they want to know is, can I do my work on it, right? Can I do my PowerPoints, or can I do my CAD drawings, or whatever it is? And that's all they know. They don't care what make it is, what model it is, how much memory it's got. They just need to know this machine is going to be capable to do whatever I need to do with it.
And working with bundles as well, the benefit there is that, if you've got people internally, it also helps those people that perhaps aren't as experienced as putting together the complete packages internally, new starters, whatever. There's set bundles to work with.
Or non-technical people, right, who don't know that you need
exactly that.
Docking station for, or which docking station you need if you've got a laptop or something, whatever. Yeah.
But if you have like a more software and services based bundle, it's the same thing, right? You want to abstract it for your customer and simplify it. You're selling a net result, but you do need all the individual services line items in Autotask or in Connectwise, because you want to have them on the contract,
Mm.
because you want to measure the profitability on the contract. How much did I have to procure? Quantity, cost price, versus how am I billing this contract or this managed services per the amount of devices or the amount of users. And Sales will let you do that by hiding the line items. They will flow into the quote line items in Autotask. You can then convert that to a new or existing contract, and you can then do the, like, I'm billing this line item on the invoice, and the other 7 line items do carry a cost. They don't carry a sales price, but I can keep track of them on my contract.
Just a quick question, if on that, sorry, again, if you go back to that product you were just looking at, it said ETA something, whatever date it was. Now, is that available? So if the customer's doing this on the portal and they're picking that Dell multi-device, does it tell them what the ETA is? So, you know, when,
yeah, you can pick or choose to hide it or show it.
Okay, because I think that would be really useful. You know, if I'm a customer buying something and I know that I'm going to buy whatever that device is, but I've got an ETA of next week, then I'm going to know that that's when I should expect it, right? Otherwise, I'm going to say, well, I thought it was in stock and I'm expecting it tomorrow or the next day. So it's good.
It's a good point. Yeah, it's a switch. You will see that there's a lot of flexibility in Salesbuildr. So it's easy to use. But you can adjust it to your needs as you wish, or for on a lot of aspects of the product.
Okay.
So maybe like if you have a proposal here, let me switch to this one, because this one is connected to an Autotask instance, right? So what we want to do is the whole workflow. So I create a quote from the dashboard. Like, here's the dashboard. It has some tiles where you can see your current proposals in the different stages.
Mm-hmm.
You can create a quick quote by pressing Q or clicking the tile. And you can then select a template from your template library.
Yep.
Now, what you need is a company, right? So you have to add a company. It automatically picks the contact person, like the primary contact. But you can change it for another contact if you wish. And if you want, you can already select a product here, right? It will suggest the products that you quote on a daily basis. But let's do something. Oh, look. Let me see here. What's in stock? This is in stock, right? So you can, if you just do a quick quote. So this will create a proposal based on this template for that customer, for that contact.
You have a button there that said create product. So I'm assuming if the product isn't there, you can just create like an ad hoc product.
Oh, yeah.
Does that then write that product back into your product catalog in your PSA tool?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So you could create products on demand, either based on a manufacturer part number or a custom product if you want. It will add it to your portfolio. And as soon as you add that product on a proposal, it will push it into your PSA. Not before, because you don't want to make a mess.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So here's a preview of your proposal. So this shows you the proposal through the eyes of your customer, right? So you have a virtual business card here, which you can customize with your image, and your LinkedIn, and your meeting planner, and your Teams chat.
Okay, that's good. So we don't all have to be Victor then. We don't all have to show.
You don't all have to be Victor. No, you can, but you don't have to.
We can keep trying.
Absolutely.
And then you have here's the standard intro letter, and there's the laptop I added. You can also see that the standardized add-ons have been added to the proposal based on the business rules I have set. So you're selling a solution instead of just a laptop.
Yeah.
Right. And then, as you can see, there's some sales collateral from the library that has been added to this template. There's some other stuff on this template. You have your conditions. You have your financial summary, which can present the one-time investment, the monthly recurring, or the yearly recurring. if you add it, it will show it, right? So it's dynamic. So you can add multiple recurring dimensions on a proposal. And you can send it to your customer, and you can pick from a library of outgoing templates, right?
Mhm.
And you can pre-write that outgoing email, and it will use merge fields to personalize it based on the customer and the one that is sending the proposal. And if you send it out, your customer will now receive an email, and that email has a link to the proposal. You can see that it's syncing to Autotask. And the email...
Sorry, I was just going to say, does that email send from your servers, or is that something that they can customize it to send from their own, you know, so does it show up like in their sent items in their Outlook?
They will get a BCC. So it's not directly integrated with your Outlook or your Google Workspace. We use a platform called SendGrid.
Okay.
Right. And you validate your DNS, and it will send on behalf of you. You can be in the CC or the BCC, so you get a copy.
Okay.
And then the customer can then sign out here. I've copied that link to the proposal. And then the end customer can view the proposal, inspect the proposal. And depending on your settings, you can say, okay, customer can change the quantities, customer can select the add-ons. That's all dynamic. And then the customer can just add a PO optional, add a note, add a name. And then they need to approve the terms and conditions, which is attached based on the template. And only if they click that, they can accept, and then they can add a signature, click on confirm. And this will convert this proposal to a signed proposal that will then be uploaded as a PDF in your PSA to the opportunity entity. It will be emailed to the customer, like an email with the signed proposal and the terms and conditions, because it's important, because they might change in 6 months and you want to have the signed version, the approved version. And if I now log in back again, because I think this is what's interesting. Now here, already approved quotes, and I already opened up Autotask. Okay, so here's the signed proposal, right? And I can open up the opportunity in Autotask. Right, so it fills up all the fields across the entity, and it will upload the relevant attachments, and it will fill in all the fields properly: one-time revenue, monthly revenue, contract term, etc. The other cool thing here is, now normally you would do the one opportunity wizard, right, to create this post-sale ticket. That's a button here. So this will create a ticket for you in Autotask. It will add the products as charges on the post-sale ticket. And you can provide the estimated hours, the due date, the billing code, and you also can provide an internal ticket note. We send you the distributors that have been added, selected for the products, and the cost price at this point in time.
That's really cool.
Now we're creating the post-sale ticket. Boom, you're done. And now this has been linked to your proposal, and you can now open that ticket. And there you go.
So what
this
about,
saves a lot of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is something that none of the other quoting tools I've ever seen do, that you still have to run the approve and post, the one opportunity wizard, or wow, as they call it in Autotask, which is, there's no wow about it, but it's but yeah, this is really cool because, you know, yeah, it's such a long drawn out cumbersome process. Now, what about, so you create the ticket in there, what about, can you create from Salesbuildr, can you create the the contract and everything as well? So if you had recurring services on there, can you build that contract?
No, you can't today. And the reason why is like, the post-sale ticket and the products that you sold, you will need to fulfill them and order them, right? So that's known. Most of the times, once the quote with the services that will need to flow to a contract is approved, most MSPs tell us, we don't know when that contract will start because we need to provision them first, do a project, do a migration. So we don't have the exact date yet. We will know in a week or in a week or two, but not today. So what they do is they will do this, and then they will manually create a contract at a later point in time when the start date is known. So we haven't figured out yet what's a universal workflow rule could be for automating the quote to contract for everybody.
Yeah.
So that remains to be seen. It's a puzzle.
Yeah. Yeah, and it makes sense because I mean, in the one opportunity wizard, when you create the contract, you have to select a start date at that point. And as you say, you may say, well, it's only going to start when the items have been delivered or something like that. And how would you know? So
yeah. But this was that wall, like the one opportunity wizard. This was built based on feedback from customers said, man, we have a high volume of product quotes. It takes up so much time. It's error prone, right? It's not fun. Nobody likes to do it. Okay, and then we decided to automate it. So this is available for all customers. So now, maybe have a look at that white space, what we talked about before, because this was like, what does Salesbuilder do different than the rest? Is for us, it's about the portfolio management. Having the ability to add the items in your portfolio to your quote templates and template building blocks. So you can pre-build a whole solution, right? So the other thing is, if you have your templates, you can also have widget templates, which are essentially building blocks. And you can add items from your portfolio to the template building blocks, right? You can add the services from Autotask, and then you can write the content that you can drag and drop or link into your proposal. And once you do that, and you have let me pick a draft quote here, right? You have a quote, and now I can go into here and I can see those template building blocks, and I can just pick one, drag and drop it into my proposal. And it will have my product description, which I can customize on the spot. But it will also have all the items that I sell on a regular basis. So for those MSPs that are standardized across software, services, and products, you can build that template library and be done with it. So your starting point is 80–90% done. You tweak it a bit, and it's going to be correct.
yeah.
That is something I think is unique. The other thing that's unique was the quote to post-sale ticket. And the other thing that's unique to Salesbuilder as a quoting platform is the white space. And the white space is where we pull in your contracts and your services. You can see your customer landscape here, and you can now inspect those, right? So you can see these are the rows with my customers.
Yeah.
These columns are my service categories or my service codes that I've used to bundle my services in Autotask, right? So you can scroll and you can see the gaps in your customer landscape when it comes to your services portfolio. I can open up contracts. I can see and inspect those contracts: start date, end date, revenue, the charges on the contract, the services on the contract. And I can use those. I can open it up too, like I can jump into that contract in Autotask. Boom, there we are. I can also create a renewal proposal based on this contract.
Okay.
Let me pick another one. And just hit the button, and you can pick a template, and it will add all those services from the existing contract to a new proposal. You can do some tweaks, remove some stuff, change some quantities, add some up and cross-sell, and send it out as a renewal proposal, but very fast. The other thing here is you can slice and dice. So what do I mean by that? I can filter on, show me all customers that have services under the Microsoft 365 service code. Boom. These customers all have services under Microsoft 365. So if you have properly set up your service codes and your services, this will be very valuable, because now I can say, okay, now I want to sell SaaS protection to those customers. Now we'll show you, okay, I got 3 customers with an open opportunity for SaaS protection. I can click the link and that will open up the opportunity, the quote. There we go. SaaS protection.
Yeah.
And it will show you, oh, here is an opportunity for MSP Navigator that does have Microsoft 365, but does not have SaaS protection. Let's create a proposal. You can pick the template, SaaS, and it will add SaaS protection to the quote. So from that insight of that highly segmented list of customers, you can now create your proposal based on a pre-built template with SaaS protection on there and send it out to the customer.
That is
now
awesome.
Let me show you something that's even more awesome. Like sometimes you want to sell things, upsell your customer base, but you can't send them a quote from the out of the blue. You want to start a conversation first. So what you can do here is say, look, all these customers have Microsoft 365, right? But some do not have SaaS protection. Basically, you can select your result and then you can apply a label to that result. For example, Microsoft 365. It will add a label to those companies. Now I can go into the Light CRM and say, I'm going to have my contacts from my PSA, and I'm gonna use the company label to filter only the contacts that match the specific company label that I've applied to the company.
So it could even be a campaign name, that, I guess, if you're doing it as a campaign basis, you might say, June 365 upsell or something.
Yeah. And as you notice, this also supports Autotask PSA classification.
Does. That's nice.
And now what I can do is say, okay, I want to inform these contacts, can be 1, can be 2, can be 100, and send them a pre-built campaign about Microsoft 365 Copilot. And now this is not going to be like a marketing salesy campaign. This is going to be a campaign from the account manager to their customer saying, hey, Chris, how you doing? Look, we checked your account. We're seeing that you are a perfect candidate for our new Microsoft 365 Copilot service. Let me tell you what it's all about, right? You confirm, and it will send it to those customers. You will get a CC in your inbox, and then once the customer replies, you will get it in the inbox. Now you start a conversation, and from that conversation, you will develop the opportunity.
Yeah.
And that's how you can leverage like marketing collateral. You can set up a marketing automation inside your customer base, and then it flows through your sales cycle from there.
That I love. I think there's, I've looked at almost every quoting tool on the planet, and none of them that I'm seeing are doing this. And I think this is where it's really going to, set Salesbuilder apart from the others, because no one's doing this at the moment. Well, except you guys, but
it's combining marketing automation with the white space insights with the proposal platform.
Is it worth showing the underbilling, sort of overbilling side of it as well? So you can see that's one of the first things. There's a number of things you do, isn't there, when you approach this? You look for those opportunities where you're underbilling, but also you have MSPs who have like a standard security package, and they want everyone to be on that. Like that's sort of like a non-negotiable, and that's another area where you can say, okay, look, are there people that potentially don't have our base level of security that we want? So different ways you can use this tool.
Yeah, so you can see there's a tab for the white space, but there's also a tab for contract items. So this will show you all your contract items from your PSA. You can say, show me all the line items where my price on the contract is different from my list price.
Okay.
And this way you can get it. And if you're talking to those customers, you can also jump into the contract, fix that, or open up a conversation, or at least be mindful that you're underbilling at this point in time compared to your current pricing.
Yeah.
The other things that we'll add here in the coming couple of weeks is grouping all those line items based on customer category service, vendor category service, to show you your most profitable services from your portfolio. So you can then, like, you can use the white space to focus on the correct customers when it comes to what you're selling. And you can also focus on what solutions in my portfolio are making me the most money. So now I know exactly where I want to focus my sales team on, which is sell my most profitable services to the customers where there's a great fit based on what they're already buying from me.
Yeah. That I really like. I think that's really cool.
It's not entirely driven by customers, but also, you know, we're always collecting customer feedback. I know vendors will always say that, but we have a user feedback board where you can come along. If you've got an idea for a particular use case, it's one of those systems where you can, you know, other people can vote on it. And that really does, that's certainly something that we consider in the development process, is what's high up on that list. That's all within our knowledge base.
Yeah. One of the things too, that was a highly progressive feature is tell me all the customers, like if I want to sell a service announcement to all my customers that have Microsoft 365, right? You can select all, export filter companies, or tag them with Microsoft 365, and then you can do a service announcement from that bulk email feature saying, hey, we're having a release update this evening, or there's an outage on Microsoft 365. Be aware, this is what's happening. But you can also do the reverse. Like, tell me all my customers that do not have Microsoft 365.
Yeah.
Hey, there's one. Now I want to sell them Microsoft 365.
What's really nice is someone else can create that email as well. If it's somebody that's in, let's say they're in technical team or something, and they want to word it in a particular way about a particular service alert or whatever, you know, create a template and then ask the salespeople to send it out in a personal manner, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool that you can kind of do that directly from, because it saves you now having to go into your PSA tool and do that, or some other marketing tool that you have. It's just kind of all handled in here, which is cool.
Yeah, because typically what happens is MSPs buy HubSpot. Yeah. It's very expensive, and they only use 10% of the capabilities.
Yeah.
And it lacks the insights from your PSA. So you can't build up laser-focused audiences based on what they bought from you. And with this, you can.
Yeah, the delineation, isn't there, between like the marketing automation side, which is useful for a marketing team, and the wider blanket emails from the company, but actually the more personal account manager stuff, this can take care of a lot of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, I mean, I definitely think this is fantastic. And one of the things I've been, as you've been going through this, I think the look and feel of it is really cool. You know, I'm loving the interface. It's kind of easy to use. It's nice and clean and crisp and sharp, which makes all the difference. Again, unlike some of the tools out there that are just, kind of stuck in the 80s. So.
Yeah, and the cool thing here is you can also see which quotes has been approved and processed to a ticket, because then they will have a link to the ticket with the charges. So you can just open it up and see, okay, these have already been processed. So that's my ticket. That's my charges. Good. I'm in control.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wow, no, that's really cool, guys. I think that's probably a good place to leave it there. I think there's, you've really gone through a lot about what this can do. If anybody wants to get in touch with you guys about like getting a demo, how what do they need to do? Is it something they can just go on the website and sign up for a demo, or how does that work?
Yeah, they can go to the website. There's information. Everything can be found online, knowledge base, pricing. They can start a free trial if they want, or they can book a demo.
Also, it's worth mentioning, I touched on it earlier, but you can actually, if you want to, just want to do a free white space check, you can do that. You can start a free trial, or we can guide you through it happily, to let, you know, help you connect it, and away you go. You know, you can see exactly where the gaps are and see what the next step should be in terms of how you can get some of that profit out of your existing customer base.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's really cool. I really love that. And you say at the moment it's only Autotask and Connectwise, but you got Halo coming.
Yeah, it's Autotask, Connectwise, Microsoft Dynamics, Sales, and Halo is planned for the end of this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
so we'll keep you posted on that, Chris. We'll keep you posted.
Absolutely. Well, it's just, you know, on this channel, there's a mixture of kind of Autotask and Halo customers that watch these videos.
Yes.
So you know, and I'm sure you'll probably have a lot of Halo people banging your door down to get the Halo integration developed sooner than the end of the year. I'll probably be one of those. I'm literally going to go and, you know what I'm going to do? I'm literally going to go and sit outside Victor's house and not move until he's developed it.
Do what you got to do, Chris.
That's fine. Yeah. So no, I really appreciate that, guys. And if anyone wants to get in touch with you guys directly, you know, how do they do that? Who do they need to contact? And how do they go from there?
Yeah, we of course we do have a sales team. Sorry, Victor, you go for it.
No, well, it's james@salesbuildr.com or victor@salesbuildr.com, or the book a demo is the best way, because it will do a round robin into the looking for who's available, the sales team.
But feel free to follow me. Of course, we have Salesbuildr TV as well. I have to give that a little plug. So we've got our own YouTube channel as well. So lots of content on there, thought leadership and insight and live sessions. We do a live session every Thursday. So you're welcome to come along and you can dive into any area of the products. And we do all sorts of stuff on there. Yeah, and I'm active on LinkedIn. So follow me for content, and feel free to DM if you need me for anything.
Absolutely.
There we go. I just want to say thank you, Chris, for having us on. It's an absolute pleasure to be on the Sondela channel, and you've done a great job in growing it, and I hope it continues.
Absolutely. Well, it's been
thank you so much.
Pleasure to have you guys, and I've wanted to have you guys on for a long time. I've known you both for, you know, feels like a lifetime, which is
like too long, is what you're trying to say, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Not too long, right? But no, I love it. It's been a great journey. So what I'm going to do is I'll link to all of these below in the comments below. You know, I'll link to your YouTube channels, to your LinkedIn's, all of that kind of stuff. And then if anyone has any questions, they can you know, just leave a comment below, and I will make sure that that we get back to them either via you guys or whatever the case might be. So thank you, you know, very much for coming on this. Really appreciate it, and what an amazing product. It's really cool.
Thanks for the words, Chris. Thank you so much.
No worries. All right, thanks guys. See you
all the best. Thank you.
See you.